Alright you guys, I think James Gunn is gone by sometime in 2027. I do not see him sticking around and making DCU projects in 2028, and I'm not the only one. You guys may recall even John Campea stated that he thinks James Gunn is going to quit by the end of 2026, by the end of this year. And we have some articles saying that James Gunn could be out at DCU by as early as before Man of Tomorrow. I think 2026 is about to be a down year for the DCU. I think it's going to be the nail in James Gunn's coffin. No one is really hype about Supergirl. There's already been some controversial comments made by the actress Millie Alcock. It's been test screened and reshot to hell already, and the budget is reportedly only $100 million. And I honestly don't even know if I believe that, and I don't even know if that's a good thing necessarily, that the budget is so low for this film. The Lanterns TV show looks like it's afraid of its own source material, and no one is hype about that. And Clayface is a villain. I don't even know why Clayface is getting a movie in phase 1. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. But let's just jump right into all this, you guys. All right, so yeah, you guys may remember about a month ago when Paramount won the bidding war for WBD, and John Campea made his video talking about how he thinks that James Gunn is going to quit by the end of 2026. If you haven't seen that video, I'll play the clip of it right here.
Again, I haven't spoken to James Gunn. I'm just telling you what I think. But I am 100% sure that before the end of the year, James Gunn is going to go to David Zaslav and say, it's been nice, but there's no way I'm working for those guys.
So yeah, John Campea thinks that James Gunn may quit straight up because, you know, the Ellisons lean right wing and James Gunn is very progressive and very liberal. He thinks he's just gonna leave by the end of 2026. And honestly, I would not lose sleep at night if James Gunn just said, bye, I'm out of here. I really would not lose sleep. I am not that invested in the DCU right now. There hasn't been a single project that I am like raving about. There hasn't been anything that I am super hype about. So I mean, he could leave right now and I really wouldn't lose sleep. I don't know if a lot of you would lose sleep if James Gunn just quit tomorrow. But we also have an article from Cosmic Book News talking about how Gunn could be out before Man of Tomorrow. We are hearing more behind the scenes chatter from WonderCon, and it lines up with what has already been circulating about James Gunn and the future of the DC universe. Worth a mention is that WonderCon is a small scale con but near Los Angeles, so it does get a lot of people who are involved with the industry. According to various insiders I spoke with at WonderCon, Gunn is still expected to be out at DC, and I was told that it could even happen before Man of Tomorrow, which is set to release in July of 2027. This tracks with what John Campea recently said about Gunn potentially leaving by the end of the year. What I was told at WonderCon is that people in the know still expect major changes at DC, with Gunn possibly not lasting long enough to see Man of Tomorrow through in the ways fans were originally sold. The film will still be released, but by that time, Gunn will have made a graceful exit. None of this has been confirmed by DC Studios or Warner Bros. Discovery, so take it as insider chatter for now, but it fits the narrative that has been building for a while, especially as uncertainty keeps surrounding the future of the DCU slate at future owner Paramount. I was also told something else interesting regarding Zack Snyder. According to the insiders I spoke with, Snyder did not go to them about coming back. I was told it was the other side that approached Snyder about a possible Snyderverse return. If true, it means there has been at least some interest in bringing him back from people with influence as these larger media and studio moves continue in the background. Recall that Mike DeLuca was bringing back the DCEU in the real ending of The Flash before Zaslav changed things and Gunn took over. So yeah, you guys, there is a lot of chatter around James Gunn's job in the next like year to 2 years. I mean, there's a good chance that he is not doing DC projects by the year 2028. I think he's going to be gone in 2027. But honestly, I would be okay with a Snyderverse return. We finish up that story and then we reboot after that. I would be okay with that. I would also be okay with just straight rebooting after they get rid of James Gunn. Who knows what they're going to do? But yeah, as you can see, a lot of people do not feel extremely confident that James Gunn is going to be at the helm of DC for like, let's say like the next 5 years or something like that. Like there's a solid chance that James Gunn doesn't even last as long as Zack Snyder lasted at DC, which would be hilarious, by the way. At least Zack Snyder stuff was making money and it was clearly targeted at guys, you know? I mean, so many people are saying, you know, if the Snyderverse was making so much money, if people liked it, why is it not around today? But we all know that WB was mismanaged in the past. They're still mismanaged now. I mean, that's why they sold the whole company. During Zack Snyder's time, I think there were like 5 different CEOs for WBD. They were just actively trying to chase Marvel. They had one bird in hand and they were trying to get the 2 in the bush. They didn't want to wait for more billion-dollar films. I mean, remember Aquaman made $1 billion, but they were just too busy trying to chase Marvel. They didn't want to trust the process and wait on it. They had to mess with Zack Snyder's vision. I mean, we all agree that the Snyder Cut was way better than the theatrical version of Justice League. And I think the Snyder Cut would have made more money in theaters than the theatrical version of Justice League. And I do believe that Justice League 2 and 3 would have been billion-dollar films. I think Darkseid looks great. I think a lot of people want to want to see the end of that story. But yeah, you can't blame Zack Snyder for not having his job and getting fired. I think WB was just mismanaged and they were just trying to chase Marvel when they were just too far ahead. They should have been running their own race. But enough of that, let's talk about Supergirl. I do not have high hopes for Supergirl. I think Supergirl is about to bomb in the box office. I don't think anyone is super hype about Supergirl. Look at this poll that was done by Comics Explains YouTube channel. I mean, this guy has over 2 million subscribers, you guys. I used to watch this guy all the time. He doesn't lean politically one way or the other. He's pretty, you know, neutral. He's pretty open. So I think this is a fair assessment of like how hyped people are about Supergirl. It has 32,000 votes. And you see here, only 11% of people have said they're going to see it opening day. Only 26% of people said they're going to see it opening weekend. But these are the shocking numbers at the bottom. 40% of people say they will wait to see it when it's on streaming. The other 24% said they're not interested at all. And honestly, I don't blame people for waiting to see it on streaming. I mean, DC kind of set the precedent that their movies are going to come out on HBO Max or what have you, like in a short amount of time. I mean, Superman only lasted in theaters for like 32 to 35 days or something like that. So why would you see Supergirl in theaters when you could just wait like a month and watch it at home? I mean, you're already paying for your HBO Max subscription anyways. I mean, if you plan it right, you could go see Spider-Man and then come home and watch Supergirl at home. But movies like Spider-Man, you're not going to be able to just stream in like a month. Movies like Doomsday, you will not be able to stream in like a month. And even though they're owned by the same company, I do not believe Dune 3 you will be able to stream in like a month after it's in theaters. But Supergirl looks like the quintessential movie you can just wait and see on streaming. And that seems to be the consensus of a lot of people out there. I think a lot of people are just going to wait to see it on streaming if they see it at all. But we also got some controversial comments from Millie Alcock that I think in no way, shape, or form are going to help this movie at all. I know I'm a little late reporting on this, but let's just talk about these comments, you guys. The interviewer asked the former House of the Dragon star, has the famously fickle Game of Thrones fandom prepared Alcock for the inevitable backlash she'll face?
Backlash. Backlash. Backlash.
Alcock replied, it definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. Well, she's right about the first part. People are going to comment about her. I mean, you're an actress. You're putting yourself out there in the public space. People are going to make comments about you. They're not all going to be positive. You have to expect that. You have to know that. And it seems like she does know that. It seems like she does know it's an inevitability. But I do not agree with the second part about like the ownership of her body. I think that's a little weird. I think people who are making comments about her appearance or what have you, I don't think they are trying to own her body. I think that phrasing is a little gaslighting. I mean, guys have been commenting on women's appearance since the dawn of time, especially an actress. I mean, you're putting yourself out there for public consumption. People are going to, or at least guys are definitely going to be talking about your physical attributes. It just comes with the territory, and it's vice versa. I mean, girls comment on guys' physical attributes all the time. Why do you think these guys have to work out for like 6 to 8 months, have strict diets, all for like this one little shirtless scene? It's because people talk about their physical appearances. I'm sure Chris Pratt was called fat and everything when he was coming off Parks and Rec, and you know, he had to get in shape to be Star-Lord. I'm sure he was called all types of names. I mean, people have commented on my physical appearance growing up. I don't know a single person who has gone through life and has not had one single negative comment about their physical appearance. But in no way did you think the person insulting you was trying to like own your body. I think the wording of it is a little gaslighting, you guys. But all I've ever said about Millie Alcock is that I don't think she is cute enough to be considered cute, and I don't think she's hot enough to be considered hot, and I think you got to be at least one of those things to play Supergirl. In my personal opinion, I think each actress that has played Supergirl is either undeniably cute or undeniably hot, but I can say whatever I want. It's the free country. People are allowed to have their opinions, and if you look at comic books in general, everyone in comic books are attractive. I mean, all the guys are handsome, square-jawed, they're jacked out of their minds, rippling six-packs, the whole nine, you know, and all the girls are beautiful. They have great bodies and they wear scantily clad clothing, right? So I mean, comics in nature, it just, everyone has unrealistic beauty standards. There's no body positivity in comics at all. When you step into this space, in the comic book space, yes, people are going to talk about how hot you are and whatnot. You know, it just comes with the territory. I have nothing against Millie Alcock. I think she's fine. I think she's right there in between being really cute and really hot, but I also think this is a little manufactured frustration. I haven't seen too many negative comments about her appearance. When you're on Threads, if you're on X or some of these other social media sites, when people post about her appearance, they typically have more comments than likes, and the comments are people defending Millie Alcock, and those comments have more likes than the actual post. So I really don't think she's getting too much hate for her appearance or anything like that. I really just think this is all just like manufactured outrage. I think this is damage control because they know the movie is not going to gross that much in the box office. And I don't blame Millie Alcock for some of these shots that we saw in the trailer that make her just look rough. I don't blame her for that. That's on James Gunn for having that vision, but I think that's a part of this like film's message that it's okay to be messy, right? Like you don't always have to be like this girly girl or what have you. Like she's not like a Mary Sue, right? Like she's not gonna be looking pretty and dolled up all the time. I think that's all baked into like the message of this movie, and we will find out if people are really here for like this version of a superhero. I mean, we'll see, but I don't blame like Millie Alcock for some of these shots that we're seeing of her like looking rough. That's all like based off James Gunn and Craig Gillespie and what they want to do with the Supergirl character. But moving on, we also have like reports that this has been like test screened 8 times, you guys. This whole movie has been test screened to death. I do not think it's a good thing. I mean, I think the average test screening for movies is anywhere between 3 and 5, and they're at 8. Some people are like, James Gunn needs this to be perfect. He knows this movie needs to be perfect, so we're going to test screen it to death, and that means it's going to be really good. I think it's being test screened to death because they don't know what they're doing with this movie at all. I think that's why they're reshooting and reshooting and reshooting. I think they had a lot of test screens, and then they realized, oh, we need to put more Lobo. Then they had more test screens. They're like, oh, we need to put more Superman. Why is everything coming back as a mixed response? Maybe we need to have more reshoots, add more of these people into the movie. I'm like, oh my God, you guys. I don't think a lot of test screenings means that the movie is about to be better than like if it only had a couple of test screenings. But that brings me to this $100 million budget. I don't know if this number is true, you guys. I think once the movie comes out of theaters for a couple months, we're gonna get some real reports about how much it really costs to make this movie. But with all the reshoots and the full CGI crypto and the fact that this movie is taking place in space and she's gonna be visiting like 9 different planets or something like that, I just can't believe that the budget is only $100 million. I think it's more damage control because they know the movie's not gonna gross a lot of money, so they're just floating around this really low budget. I don't believe it, you guys. I really don't believe it, but maybe it's true. Maybe it is true. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of how cheap this DCU feels. I mean, Supergirl has this low budget. I believe Clayface has a budget lower than Supergirl, and the Lanterns TV show doesn't even look like that's high budget. It's so grounded. It looks like they spent nothing on that show. You saw no CGI. You saw nothing of like real note in that Lantern trailer. Yeah, the DCU just looks really cheap. All the suits look really cheap. There hasn't been a really good standout super suit yet, you guys. I mean, I would rather one big project to come out in 2026 than like 3 cheap low budget projects, you guys. And this may be controversial. No. Wait. But I think it would be better for the DCU if they had a movie that grossed like $700 to $800 million, but lost money because the budget was so high, versus a movie like Supergirl that may actually make money because the budget's so low. But if it only grosses $400 to $500 million, I don't think that does much for the DCU. I think right now the DCU needs relevancy, and relevancy comes from being in front of people's eyeballs. You need to sell tickets. People need to be like aware that your universe exists. People need to be hype about your universe. You need more like social currency. You need to be a part of the lexicon of the culture, and that only comes from like ticket sales and getting in front of people's eyeballs. If your movie only grosses like $400 to $500 million for the brand of DC, that is nothing. No one's really watching that. That's just like comic book fans like me and you going out and watching the movie. That's not really the general audience going out there and watching the movie for like a brand like DC. Now, when Sinners made like $360 million, that's a lot of eyeballs for Sinners, right? I mean, that opening weekend, it only made $48 million. So for Sinners to make what it did, I mean, that's a lot of people watching Sinners for like how big that IP was. I mean, it's an original idea, right? So it had no real fan base. You're just selling Michael B. Jordan. So $360 million is great for Sinners, but for the brand of DC, like any movie that makes that little bit amount, I mean, that's nothing. So yeah, you guys, I have little faith in that Supergirl movie. I don't think anyone's really hype about it. I do not think it's gonna gross a lot in the theaters. But let's move on to Lanterns. So we really haven't gotten any more new news about Lanterns, but you guys, I don't think anyone is really hype about this show from the trailer we did see. It just looks so bleak, so bland, so colorless. It seems like they're really afraid of their own source material, you guys. And I don't understand why. I mean, Green Lantern has some of the most beautiful and some of the most like intricate source material. I do not have high hopes for this Lantern show. If it's not widely viewed, if it's not like a top 10 show, or God forbid it loses 40% of its audience like Peacemaker season 2, I think that's going to be a big fat bad L for DC. And I think it's the only project that people were really excited about going into the DCU. I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to be Green Lantern forward with a vibe of True Detective, not really True Detective forward with a vibe of Green Lantern. Unless they release a different trailer and we see different footage of like the things you expect to see out of a Green Lantern project. As it stands right now, no one is really excited about the Lanterns project. And moving on to Clayface, I mean, we really haven't heard too much about Clayface except for like the budget is going to be really low. It's not going to be like a big budget type of film. I don't even know why Clayface has a movie in phase 1. I mean, he's a villain. It makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on Clayface just because we don't know too much about Clayface. I mean, no one's really hype about it. No one thinks it's going to be like a real like high grossing film. It's just like another nothing burger. I really think this 2026 is about to cook James Gunn. I think his job is about to be on thin ice at the end of 2026. I'm really struggling to see where the win is coming in 2026 with all these projects. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know why he has this type of phase 1. I think his Man of Tomorrow is going to be under a lot of pressure. I think his Man of Tomorrow movie is going to be compared to like Batman v Superman in terms of how much it's going to gross in the box office. Batman v Superman made $870 million, and we will see if Man of Tomorrow can match that or do better than that. I don't see it happening, but we will see. But you guys, I am kind of preying on that DCU demise. I mean, I really want to be done with this whole like modern audience stuff in like the superhero genre. I really hope once the DCU dies, people will understand like we need to take all this woke stuff out of the superhero genres. We need to take all this like modern audience seeking out of the superhero genre. The money is not there. People want more Top Gun Maverick. People want more Project Hail Mary, things like that. And then hopefully it'll seep into all these other sci-fi and action genres. Like there's no reason Predator should be all about feelings and stuff like that. They need to fix that. There's no reason Star Wars should lack the masculinity, and then they wonder why people don't like the Acolyte, and they wonder why people don't like the most recent Star Wars movies. Doctor Who shouldn't be black and gay. Doctor Who fans don't like that. Starfleet Academy shouldn't have even existed. They're trying to sell all this sexuality politics and all this messaging to the Star Trek fan base, and they're not showing up for it. They don't like that stuff. And don't even get me started about Black Snape. I have a whole video about Black Snape. But yeah, I hope that once the DCU is over and done with and James Gunn is gone and Paramount fully takes over, I hope we get more traditional storytelling, stuff closer to Top Gun Maverick, stuff closer to Project Hail Mary, just with DC. And I think people are going to be really surprised with how much they like that Paramount Skydance content, you guys. I think you'll get something closer to what you got in the animated universe that everyone loves. That didn't have any messaging in it. It was action packed. That Superman was really cool, really tough, really strong, really masculine. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this topic, you guys. I do not think James Gunn is going to be around in 2028. I think he's going to be let go of in 2027. He's either going to quit before 2027 or he's going to get fired sometime during 2027. But I do not see James Gunn sticking on in 2028. I do not think we're going to get that Batman Brave and the Bold movie. And I think his DCU is cooked, and he really did it to himself. But if I said anything that you guys can agree with, smash that subscribe button. This is the best account without a silver play button. Come join the new guy. This is your channel and I work for you. Click here to binge more of my content. And as always, thank you for inviting me into your home, and thank you for joining me in mine. I'll see you guys in the next video.